right. Hello, everybody. My name is Tyler. I'm one of the co-founders over here at Truffle Shuffle, and we want to show you a quick little video of how to make a beautiful black truffle risotto. All right, so this is exactly the way that we make black truffle risotto in a 3 Michelin star restaurant, and we would love for you to come and join us to see how you make it step by step. So I'll be showing you a couple of the techniques over here that we use to take this dish from start to finish, all right, as to how to make the world's most delicious truffle risotto. And so just a quick little background on myself and our company. We're all chefs. We all met while working at a restaurant called the French Laundry. We were there for many, many years. And then we started this company, me and my business partners. So with that, we have a business over here where we send you a kit of all the ingredients needed so you can make this beautiful dish at home as well. So with that, I'm going to come over here and I have all of my equipment and all of my ingredients ready to go to get this risotto going. And so we're going to show you how to do it. So first things first that we need to do with risotto, right, is we actually need to heat up our broth, okay? And so over here, I have my 2-quart sauce pot, all right? And so I'm going to use 3 cups of bone broth. And I'm also going to add about 1.5 cups of water. And I like to add a little bit of water just because it really helps make sure that the finished risotto isn't too heavy, all right? So whether or not your broth is frozen is no problem whatsoever, right? But I'm just going to add 3 cups of broth, and then I'm going to come over here and add 1.5 cups of water as well, okay? Beautiful. So, now that I got all those items in there, I want to bring this broth to a boil, okay? And once that broth is at a boil, I'm just going to turn the heat off, all right? So, while my broth is coming up, now is the perfect amount of time, right, to get the next items going for this recipe, okay? So the first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to dice up some shallot, all right? So I got this beautiful shallot over here, okay? And in order to dice up this shallot, what I want to do is first I want to trim the top end of that shallot and the root end of the shallot, okay? And then I like to come over here, split this shallot in half, okay? That way I got my 2 pieces of shallot over here, all right? So come in here, split that shallot in half, and then just peel this shallot back, okay? Just go ahead and peel this shallot back, okay? So whenever you're working with shallot or onions, you want to make sure you get rid of all that kind of papery layer, okay? That way we're just working with that nice, clean shallot. And then if you have any peels or anything like that, you can go ahead and pop them in compost, all right, or save them for vegetable stock, either or. So now I got these shallots cut. What I want to do next is dice them up. So I like to take the root end of my shallot facing away from me, okay? And what I want to do is come in here and make vertical slices in that shallot as thin as I can, all right? But I want to leave the root end intact, okay? So once I got a slice going top-wise, I'm going to come over here and go against the grain, okay? And just slice up that shallot as thin as I can, okay? Nice and thin over here. Beautiful. So that's my first half. I'm coming here, hit up my second half of that shallot exactly the same way, okay? Turn it, slice our shallot across the grain, all right? Beautiful. And so those kind of end pieces of that shallot you can save, right, for vegetable stock or something like that, if you would like. And so I want to take the rest of this minced up shallot and come in here and just chop it up as thin as I can. All right? As fine as possible. And so we want this finished shallot over here to be smaller than our grains of rice. All right? We want it to be smaller than our grains of rice, because risotto is all about that rice, right? We never want to bite into a large piece of shallot, right, as we're eating this delicious truffle risotto. Okay? Nice. So, again, come in here, mince up this shallot, nice and small. Beautiful. And then, once I got it finely minced, I just want to grab a nice little bowl or a plate or something like that, all right? And just transfer that minced shallot onto that small bowl or plate, okay? Nice. And you can see my shallot over here looking absolutely delicious. Look at that. Boom. Okay. All right. So now that we got our shallot minced, what we want to do next is we actually want to whip up our cream, okay? And so we're using about half a cup of cream. And this step right here is what really takes our dish to the next level. All right, and the whipping of the cream, it really coats every grain of rice much differently than it would if you were to use liquid cream. Okay, so I got my cream over here. All right, just gonna give it a quick little shake, and I'm gonna transfer all of that cream into my mixing bowl. All right, and then what I want to do next is come in here, lean that bowl down, and just hit my whisk back and forth, all right? Until this cream gets nice and whipped up, all right? And what we're looking for over here is what we call soft peaks, okay? What we call soft peaks. So, what soft peaks means is cream that is thick enough to actually stick and hold in my whisk, all right? So I'm getting close over here, right? I'm almost there. You can see my cream is starting to thicken up, okay? Beautiful. So if I hold my whisk up, you see that little peak right there on that whisk? Oh yes. Oh my gosh, that is looking absolutely fantastic. So now I got my cream whipped up over here. All right, what we want to do next is actually pop this cream into our fridge, okay? Because you do want to keep cream cold, all right? That way it holds its shape. Because otherwise, if you leave cream out, it can kind of deflate a little bit. So at this point, our broth is still getting nice and hot over here, as you can see. It hasn't quite come to a boil, but it's almost there. I got my shallot minced and my cream whipped, all right? So what we got to do next is actually grate up that Parmesan cheese, okay? So come over here, remove that cheese from the packaging, and we want to use the small holes on our cheese grater to actually come over here and grate up this Parmesan, okay? Nice. And so I'm using about 1 ounce of Parmesan cheese, okay? And I'm just grating it up on the small holes of my cheese grater, all right? Look at that. Beautiful. And then just like with our shallot, okay? Just like with our shallot over here, we're just going to pop it onto a little bowl. And so as you can see over here, I have done a great job grating up this cheese. Okay, make sure you do a great job. So, I've got my cheese grated. I just want to come over here to my broth real quick. As you can see, it's boiling. So I'm just going to turn the heat off, all right, and set it off to the side. Okay? So, again, I'm just transferring that beautifully grated cheese onto a little plate, right, or a little bowl, and just placing it off to the side. Boom. So, now that we have those items done, the next thing that I need to do is get my truffle component going. Alright, so over here at Truffle Shuffle, we have our beautiful Black Truffle Carpaccio. Oh yeah. So, when you're using Black Truffle Carpaccio, first things first, you want to open up that lid, alright? Oh. And you want to actually get a smell of it, alright? Oh my gosh. Beautiful. So, now that we got this Carpaccio opened up, okay, what we want to do is actually dice up half of this Carpaccio. Alright, the other half we're going to save to kind of add slices on top of our finished dish for garnish. Okay, but I want to come over here and chop up this Carpaccio nice and fine. So I'm going to come in here with my knife and just run my knife through this Carpaccio. Okay. In one direction. And then I'm going to turn my knife, chop it in my next direction, okay? So you can see. Getting this truffle nice and finely chopped up. Alright? Beautiful. And in a nice fine pieces, okay? Perfect. And once we got that chopped up, alright, we can come over here and just place it, again, in a little bowl, right, or a little container or something like that, and set it off to the side. Nice. Look at that. Looking absolutely stunning. Okay? So, that is, we've just finished up all of our prep, okay, and in French we call that our mise en place. So that is having everything organized to get ready to actually cook this dish, okay? So now that we got everything done, I'm going to come over here and cook up this risotto. So the first thing I want to do is just place a little bit of olive oil into my saute pan, along with my shallots, all right? And I'm going to turn the heat up to about medium-low heat. Okay? And as I cook these guys over here, I want my shallots to get nice and soft. Okay? And we call that sweating out the shallots, stewing the shallot. And what's really going to help with this is adding a pinch of our beautiful Balinese truffle salt. Alright, so I'm just going to place a little truffle salt into the palm of my hand. And I'm going to season up my shallots, okay? Just let that salt rain down. It's like a musical symphony, okay? As you do it, that truffle salt. So, add a little bit of salt to this pan and just stir up that shallot, okay? And what we're looking for over here is we want our shallot to be nice and soft and translucent, okay? Beautiful. So, as I'm cooking these shallots over here, you know, sweating them out, making sure they become nice and soft. All right. Beautiful. And we want them to be nice and translucent. All right. Excellent. Beautiful. So, because they're cut so small, this is not going to take a very long time. This happens super quickly. All right? And so you can see over on my screen, my shallots are already nice and soft, okay? So, now that I got them nice and softened up, I'm going to go ahead and add my risotto rice, okay? And I want to just very gently toast this rice, right, for about a minute over this medium-low heat. Just kind of wake up that rice a little bit, okay? We kind of get that starch set on the outside of those grains of rice, all right? We're just very gently toasting it up over here, okay? So, just continue stirring as you're toasting that rice up. And you're not necessarily looking for rice to be toasted. Like, you don't want it to be browned up, but you want it to be a little bit of heat on the outside of every single grain of rice, okay? So, see on my screen, I'm about there. My kitchen is getting nice and toasty and beautiful. All right. Excellent. So, now that we got that rice toasted up, all right, what we want to do next is add just a little bit of white wine, okay? So I just want about half a cup of white wine. I'm going to add that to my pan. And then I'm just going to turn the heat all the way up to reduce that wine all the way down, okay? Let's get it all the way cooked down. Beautiful. And so this step right here is called deglazing, right? It's called deglazing. And this really allows us to concentrate the flavor, all right, of that wine in this saute pan, okay? So, I want to cook this wine all the way down until there's no wine left. So my pan is almost completely dry. All right. Beautiful. And you can see over here on my screen, my pan is now completely dry over here, all right? So at this point, I want to start adding my broth, okay? And with risotto, you want to cook it on about medium heat, okay? You want to cook it at a nice simmer. And this is where you really start stirring that risotto, okay? This is where you start stirring that risotto up, all right? And developing the starch in that risotto. So you want to only add one ladle of risotto at a time, okay? And you want to stir this guy up over here, okay? Beautiful. So you can see my first ladle that I've added has almost been entirely absorbed. So now I'm going to add my next ladle, okay? And just like that, we're going to continue this process all the way until we only have about a quarter cup of our broth left, okay? So, at this point, we're just going to continue doing a lot of stirring, okay? Adding a ladle full of broth when that next ladle, right, is incorporated. And it's going to take about 15 minutes, okay? So, I'm going to continue stirring over here, and I will see you all in about 15 minutes to finish this beautiful risotto. All right, So after about 15 minutes of cooking, as you can see over here, my pan is almost dry. My rice is beautifully cooked. Okay, and now we gotta finish up this risotto. So the first thing I want to do is turn my heat all the way down to low. And first off, I want to add 2 tablespoons of butter into this risotto. Okay, so I got 2 tablespoons of butter over here. I'm going to pop it into my pan with my risotto, and I'm just going to stir that butter into my rice. Okay, beautiful. This is how we're enriching this risotto over here with that beautiful butter. Wow, look at that. Excellent. So now that we got our butter added to our rice, what we want to do next is come over here and we want to add our whipped cream into that pan. Okay, so grab that whipped cream, add all of it directly in to that pan with that risotto, that beautiful butter. All right, stir that risotto into our rice. And you'll see how every grain of rice just gets coated with that whipped cream. All right. Beautiful. And this is how we're enriching this incredible risotto. So stir that rice into that whipped cream. Okay. And now that we got our whipped cream added, what we want to do next is get all of that Parmesan cheese into our risotto, okay? And this is what's gonna kind of tighten up this risotto, make it nice and tight and beautiful. All right. So stir that Parmesan in. Oh my gosh. You see it's looking absolutely delicious over here. So now that we got that Parmesan added, I'm going to add that chopped Truffle Carpaccio. Okay? Just stir that guy in as well. Look at that. And you can see we got our beautiful, creamy, dreamy risotto over here. All right. Last but not least, we're going to adjust our seasoning with a little bit of that Balinese truffle salt. I need about a pinch. Okay, a nice pinch. Oh. Wow. And then last but not least, we always like to add a little bit of champagne vinegar to heighten up that taste. So I like to come in here, just a couple drops of that champagne vinegar. Okay. Adding them to this pan of risotto. And just stirring that rice into that pan, okay? And look at that over there. Incredible looking risotto. I'm just gonna come in here and get a taste. Oh. Absolutely delicious. And all we got left to do is to plate it up, all right? Just come in here, grab a plate, okay? And I'm just gonna spoon that risotto right into the center of our plate. You can see it over here. Look at that. See how our risotto kind of spreads out like that? Just a little bit. That's perfect. In Italy, they actually plate risotto on plates. That way you can see that beautiful sauce. All right. Of that risotto. Spread it right out. Over the top, I'm going to add my finishing moves. All right. So, I'm just going to come over here, add my slices of that Truffle Carpaccio. All right. Just add the slices of that Truffle Carpaccio over the top. That way, every other bite gets that nice chunk of Carpaccio, and then a little drizzle of that truffle oil on top. And last but not least, one final sprinkle of that Balinese truffle salt. And look at that over there. Our absolutely stunning black truffle risotto, cooked exactly like you would have it at a Michelin star restaurant. So, hope you enjoyed that quick little video as to how to cook this black truffle risotto. Again, we would love to cook with you sometime, and we'd love for you to taste some of this delicious cuisine. So, hope to see you sometime soon, and thank you so much, everyone.